doing drills.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, he's out. It's like for a whole month. Did I tell you he's leaving? He earned it now. Did I tell you his girlfriend's in the reserve? No. She's a KK right now. She graduates in a week.
Buddy, I think we're ready to get started here. I'll get started with just rolling through. We've made some progress on our end, and so we'd like to share our updated proposals with you. And then I believe you said nothing has changed in yours, correct?
Right, we just actually added one or two things, so, but everything else is pretty much the same.
Okay. So this one was our proposal here about the probationary period and trying to get that more consistent and just say it's a year, 1 calendar year following successful completion of the field training officer program. Anything on that since we presented that last?
No, we're happy with that. yeah.
Okay. Our next is our salary. So we've settled with some of our other units, and what we're proposing here is a tiered approach. We started this with our teachers. We just settled with SEIU, something similar, and we're proposing this as a way to recognize some of the people who've been with us for a long period of time and try to get to those percentages. So this would increase our min by 3%, but all employees, the 0 to 5.99 years would be 3.5%, 6 years to 9.994%, and 10 or more years of continuous service in a regular position in the district, 5%. So that, adjusting that min, we're in the process of working on a market study just to see where that lands us in our minimum hourly, and that puts us with a 3% to the min would put us at $30.88.
4088, what's the?
30.88.
What's the?
If it was 40.88, you better
yeah.
sign that deal.
Yeah. What's the annual?
I'd have to, It would vary depending on the 206 versus the 250. So it's basically that, that hourly rate, whatever your hourly rate is, or the minimum hourly rate times 8 times 206 or 250. So that's how you would calculate your annual base. That's not including all the other earnings that officers are able to get.
Because right now it's 49,407, so you're just adding 3% to that.
Correct. So, but in terms of the hourly rate, we see that will put us at 6th. There still are some others to go, but that's of 21 agencies that we've compared ourselves to, and I could share that with you.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing.
Sure. So that's where we're at there, and that is still with the one-time bonus of $1,500 or 3% of the base salary.
What does that mean prior to any reoccurring salary increase? Because that wasn't in the teachers' agreement. Does that mean that they get the bonus before they get anything else?
That is what was done with teachers. That's what's done with any. It's basically before the, let's just say it was 3.5%, 4%, or 5%. So it's whatever your current base salary is, because the bonuses are rolling out first, and so it's basically, it was calculated based on what your current salary is to give either $1,500 or 3% of your current base prior to any increases. That hasn't changed since last proposal. So anybody over 50,000 would be looking at the 3%. Anybody under or right at 50,000 would be the 1,500.
Okay. Okay, we'll have to talk about that.
These are just changes of some dates and modifying it from, because I added B up here for the bonus, so it shifted B and C to C and D. We're still, our proposal has not changed for the sergeant's special duty assignment.
We're not interested in amending that. How many detective supervisors are there right now? Because I think last time you said that this would make 87 people eligible.
I don't know. This is just the 12-month position. We'll come back to that when we get an answer, all right? This is
And that's
12
exactly the same as the MOU, right?
Hasn't changed, yep. These are what the new minimum hourly rates look like. We're removing 206 because it's either 206 or 250, either one. It's the same hourly rate. The health, life, dental, and vision benefits was, we reached that tentative agreement in September and went to the board on October 19th, so that will be part of the ratification process, and we'll include that in the tentative agreement. So for your request to increase the recurring compensatory time from 24, I believe you requested 56 or something like that, we're willing to go to 40 hours.
Okay.
Reoccurring, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Outside detail, so we raised this to 40 last round, and you requested 50 and 65, so we are good with that. The piece that we're asking is that it be effective July 1st, because the contracts that we have they go to the board to be effective July 1st. So that's, we ate it last time, the $3 or $5. I can't remember which one we went up. One was from 40 or 37 to 40. One was 35 to 40. So it's not that much. This is a little bit larger amount. But effective July 1st, 2023, we'd be willing to go to these rates. In here, we removed Muck Bowl and removed Halloween. So, and not special events, because we wanted it to be more clear what exactly this covers, not just, anything can, begin to turn into a special event. So
Okay.
we wanted to, we recognize it, and, we're trying to meet you somewhere here, and feel we did on the dollar amounts. It would make sense to make this change July 1st because of all the agreements the contracts are already in place. They've been negotiated with the board, so.
I don't see St. Patty's Day on there.
Is Labor Day?
You're Irish, right?
Is Labor Day a paid, is Labor Day a paid holiday?
Yeah, Labor Day is a paid holiday, yeah.
And it's, 12-month employees are working on Labor Day or they're off?
No, they're off.
Okay.
Okay. So on this, we met you halfway. You asked to change it from 6 to 10. We do not agree to that. But we did agree to, you asked for if the request is made 14 calendar days in advance, that we must grant use of the day, absent undue operational hardship, so we're good with that.
Okay.
Okay. This is the drop language. So all bargaining unit members may request to extend their 5-year drop participation for up to 3 additional years, as long as such extension is permitted by Florida statute. So the reason why I added this language up to is because it's a maximum of 36. It could only be full years, and it's a maximum of 36 months. So if it's not on an even part, the statute basically covers that, but I just wanted to make it very clear here. So up to 3 additional years. All requests will be submitted to the Chief of Police for final approval using the drop extension request application and approval form within 60 days of the drop deadline date. It's the responsibility of the bargaining unit employee to submit this form to the Chief of Police and Human Resources prior to the termination date. So your window is 60 days from your termination date, your drop end date, okay, that you could do this. Requests submitted after the employee's drop end date will not be honored.
And then those have all been being granted. Yeah. Okay.
Are they guaranteed?
Yeah, you're just gonna grant them all. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because some places haven't been doing that, so, okay.
Can that be put in there then? If they qualify, they will be guaranteed?
Yeah, you could just change it to may extend.
yeah, I'm not willing to do that. I'm gonna leave it as may instead of must or will. I'm gonna leave it as may.
No, like, they will all be granted. They don't have to do it, but they
Well,
can
right
all-
now, we might look at it like that, right? But in years to come, I don't know if it
wanna
will always
pick and
be the
choose.
same. So I'm not willing to write that in there permanently. So I think, we're obviously interested in doing that, but a lot of things can change, and who knows what the environment looks like in 5 years. I'm not suggesting at all that we wouldn't be granting them. I'm
We'll
just
meet
saying
again
that.
next year.
What's that?
We're meeting again next year, so,
All right, well, so this is, we made some progress here, so we could see how it is, and it's in here as this, so,
okay, well, we'll talk about it and come back with our feedback.
okay.
So we'll probably need a caucus.
Uniforms, so we increased this is one that you brought forward under Article 20. It doesn't fit under Article 20. 'cause
Right,
it's
I didn't realize, I just missed the uniform article, honestly, so.
So if you've reached your max on articles, so.
Right, I know, I did take it out of our proposals.
Well, we're willing to, if you agree, and because we feel, listen, we know costs have gone up and things like that, so we are willing to bring it forward if you agree to, as one of ours. We're increasing it by, you can see, $140 a year total, so it's up to 1,000.
Okay. Okay, that's the last one.
Yes, it is. All the others we're a status quo on.
Okay, well, we appreciate the detail rate, especially, I'm sure, for the salary. I don't think we're interested in a tiered plan, but we're gonna talk about it and we'll come back.
Okay.
Okay. You guys ready?
Caitlin, what room do we have? C, so that is one
Just
room
go over one
next
room?
door, yep.
Okay.
Hey,
number of
Kevin,
times.
I'm wearing Depends.
I've heard recently since we came back.
Okay, you guys ready? All right. So thank you for the movement. We do appreciate it, but I think we do have a little ways to go with the salary. So we talked about it. We're going to stick with our 3 articles, and we can put the uniform stuff on the back burner. And I'll just start with salary. So for the salary, we're not interested in the tiered plan. We would be happy with 7% across the board for everyone and no bonus. So they want something that's pensionable, and, again, the teachers get, the bonus, their raises, which some are getting 4%, and they get the referendum money. So we think that this is very fair. And a 3% raise to the minimum would bring you guys starting pay around $50,889, but a 7% increase to the minimum would be $52,865.49. So you're still below even the coastal towns, but I think that we all agree that you guys need to work towards being more competitive. So that's our proposal. And with the hourly rates, let me see. I think it's only a little over $1 increase to the hourly rates if you go to 7%. So that's something we think's fair. And looking at all the other agencies, most everyone's getting at least 7% increases per year. And this is just something that I think the department really needs to make you guys more competitive, to bring in better candidates, and to, build you guys up again. So that's our counter for the salary. And with that, I'm just going to go through all of our articles, keeping in mind if we get what we are requesting for the salary. So Article 17, work week and overtime, subsection C, we're happy to take the 40 hours with that. Trying to find so 7% to the hourly would be $32.07 and $54.82. That would be the new hourly rate. So again, going back to Article 17, so subsection C, we would be okay with changing it from 24 hours to 40. I'm looking at my proposals that I gave you all today. So Section H, I did put that if the comp time falls on a date when the district's closed, like during a hurricane, that the district will not deduct the comp time from the accumulated bank because that's their earned time. But I did change it when we look at the leave section for the other types of leave. So that is more in line with the district policy where they have to give the 2 hours notice, but we do think that comp time is different. So that was our proposal for subsection H. 17.11, we would be happy with your proposal if we got the 7%. $17.14, and I'm sorry this isn't in red in my proposal, that's why I highlighted it. This is our proposal. It's basically outlining what we're required to do anyway, which is bargain a change in schedule or the calendar. And that's reasonable notice, 10 workdays, so I'm leaving that in there. And then the seniority wheel, I didn't see that in y'all's, but this is what I wrote. This was our proposal, but I'm totally fine with the guys meeting with Chief Moody and discussing this because they just want something in writing. But if this doesn't exactly work for the department, then that's fine. Whatever you guys think is best, they just want something down so that it's clear. You good?
No.
Yeah, okay. Article 18, so this is what I was saying, this is just covering, because I've had a lot of questions about this the last hurricane, so this I'm just outlining basically the policy that's in the district policy, so they have to give 2 hours notice for their leave time not to be deducted if the district's closed in a state of emergency. Leave for personal reasons. So I think that.
I'm sorry, can I back
Sure.
up on that? So that is our policy. Why is it that we want that in the contract?
Because it's not clear, no one knew about the district policy during the last hurricanes, and also, if this is an issue or whatever, it's just clear and in the contract and they can get it fixed, so. And it differentiates the regular leave from the comp time. Because comp time is not addressed in the school policy, so that's why I wanted to clarify it as well.
Well, we'd follow the same thing for comp time if they canceled it beforehand.
But we just had confusion over it because the comp time isn't addressed in the district policy, so, and that's their earned time, so we view it as different.
Okay.
Let's see. I think that you guys were fine with the 6 days, leaving it at the 6 days as long as you get 2 weeks.
Yes.
It's granted, so that's good. The attendance supplement, we still wanted to keep our proposal that use of personal days should not affect the ability to receive the attendance supplement. And we believe that this goes in line with the MOU for 12-month employees with the use of annual leave not affecting the attendance supplement. So our Article 20, we proposed a lot of different things, the complexity assignment, the tuition reimbursement, which we did think was more practical considering that it's a law enforcement CBA, because not a lot of cops have, get the doctorate degree, and this is the same as PBSO's policy. It's more practical and beneficial, I think, to the members. But we'd be willing to, as if we get the 7%, just drop most of the proposals except for the, we want to increase the sergeant pay to $5,000. And this is the one thing I was adding. I meant to put it in the last time. The training unit officers wanted to request an increase in assignment pay. I just forgot to put it last time, but that's.
1289, go ahead.
That's something we added, but again, we would be willing to work on those things if they got what they wanted for the base salary increase and the sergeant increase in sergeant pay. And then for the drop language, we were fine with your drop language, except we do want to change it to say may extend, because I believe that the statute does, the state did intend for this extension for law enforcement officers, and the people who are not granting it for everyone, it's only affecting the current drop participants. So if you're not a current drop participant, they are giving it to you because of the way the statute reads, they have to give it to you. So I just don't think we should get into a situation where you're picking and choosing. So if the statute allows it, you should extend the drop for everyone. So that's why I just wanted to change that to may extend, so we don't, and I know we won't have a problem with this now with Chief Mooney, but I just don't, that's our one change to that paragraph, so. Just making it clear that everyone should get the extension.
I understand, I'll look into that, but I'm not sure we're at a place where we can do that today. I do think that we're a lot more competitive than you're claiming us to be, especially with the market study. I'll be happy to share that with you so you can see the hourly rate. Our schedules are different. Our structure is different, but hourly rate, we are competitive when I look at it. When I see some of the agencies starting at $26.66 per hour, we're pretty competitive. So, I'll share that with you for sure.
And what you have, I'm sure, out of respect for yourself, is accurate. I have seen it, but I'm sure it is. However, here's the problem, is that after day one, or year one, you're not competitive. You're not competitive from there until the officers are retired. Because when we have an officer ask us, how much money what's the next raise? We don't know. You go to a traditional agency and it's delineated right there. It's delineated what their salary is for whatever their step plan may be. And additionally, beyond that, they have a longevity, and some have a longevity and a step. That's why I liked, years ago, I presented the Miami-Dade School District, where in fact they have a step plan. So my question back then, and was when, I think maybe only Mr. Mitchell was in the room at that time, not saying that we're older and they're like that, is that I just asked for a simple explanation, which I thought is how can the Miami School District, if I'm saying it right, they're able to fund that where we are not? I would assume they're larger, I don't know, more employees, more children, more students, I'm sorry. And I say that with all due respect. Walking in the door, I'll agree, we are competitive, but then after that, you're not. And that's going to be the problem, is with retention people.
And we're missing out on also on COLAs that these agencies are receiving every year, and other bonuses, they're calling them, maybe inflation raises and stuff like that, that these agencies are getting that are not included in their contract. And if we base, if we look at with the teachers and the administrators, if you go on to theirs, they're probably 16 to 20% increase this year, if you add their percentages up.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
So if you have, some of them are getting 3 to 4% raises.
Speaking about the referendum money,
The
some
referendum
teachers
money.
get
referendum.
$10,000.
And I know we're not including that when it's in the numbers, but we are, when we compare them. So we're looking for a 7%. We dropped from 10 to 7, and we're looking for something a little bit more compatible with,
That's pensionable.
that's pensionable.
I have a question. With the referendum money, and this might be a question for your legal department, I know it says it can't be used for school police raises, for officers' raises, but can it be used for retention as a step, or as a, what's the other word
No,
I'm
right.
looking for?
Nothing has changed in the referendum. That was how we ran it, as it was a continuation, it didn't present any changes from the original one that was done 4 years ago. So the money that's allocated is to be spent the same way it was over these last 4 years.
Yeah, but from what I gathered, the first way it was written, it couldn't be used for, it could be used to hire new officers, but it couldn't be used for raises for existing officers.
What Mr. Kubrick said is correct. I mean, it was a continuation of what we were already doing. So we're funding over nearly 800 elementary art, music, and PE teachers, choice, and career academy. In addition to that, a behavioral mental health professional at every single school. We have the teacher recruitment and retention supplements. And that's just a continuation too. They're not getting an additional $5,000 and $10,000. That's just a continuation of what they received 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not an increase each year.
Well,
No, I don't think it's an increase. I'm just saying there's a portion of that that's set for school security, school police, for the vehicles, for the equipment. Am I correct when I say that?
The vehicles are not funded from the referendum. The vehicles are funded from our capital projects fund. And the first officer at every single school is funded out of the general fund. So the referendum is only paying for supplemental officers and services.
the contracts.
Referendums for 4 consecutive years, am I correct?
Oh.
We vote on that every 4 years?
Every 4 years.
So for 4 years, though, we know that's basically for 4 years, they know they're going to be getting that same amount of money.
For the teachers?
Yes,
Right, and it
yes.
was just a
That's-
continuation. So
yes.
if it was not approved by the voters, then it would have been taken away.
I understand, but we know for the next 4 years, they're getting that same monies.
But just the same money, it's not an increase,
We
like
understand
how
that, but they're still
you,
getting that continually, though, for 4 years.
I think the
So-
problem is it's some teachers get
Contract for 4
$10,000
years.
that's not reflected in the teacher's contract. So the officers are viewing that as, why aren't we included? And the question is, what money is being used for improved school safety? And when you say supplemental, does that mean it's with the contracts with the other agencies that you guys are using to have to fill these spots?
it's any additional officer over the one officer per school site. That's what's being allocated and charged to the referendum. And then also additional security services for the after-school activities, the football games.
So there is a portion of the penny sales tax that's going towards.
No, not the penny sales tax.
Ad
That's
valorem.
Oh, it's the ad
yeah,
valorem,
the
okay.
referendum.
So that so I had the wrong, but can that be used for retention, some of that money for retention, instead of being used for salaries. I know it
No,
can't be.
it's a continuation of what it's been used for.
Right.
That is how it was presented to the voters. We're continuing how we were using the funds.
There's no changes to it. That's how we rolled it out, so.
I'm sorry. Just a clarification, when you indicated for the second officer being used for the, I'm sorry, supplemental monies are being used for the second officer, so just for, I'd like to say people at home would understand if I'm correct, so that would be supplementing the salary of whether it be a school district police officer or a municipal officer?
Wait, can you please repeat your question?
Yeah, I apologize.
Sorry.
Just for edification for purposes, you indicated the monies for the school safety is, part of it is geared towards a supplemental officer, which you indicated was the second officer in the respective school. So then those monies, is it correct to say, is covering the salary for the officer, whether it be a school district officer or a municipal officer assigned?
Correct. And it also includes overhead costs for the police department as well.
And I apologize, I missed your last statement. You had indicated something about football games? How the
Right,
money-
because as part of the, if you remember, when the referendum was initially approved, it was after Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and so there was concerns around, not Marjorie, I guess it was Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, but there was more concerns around safety, and so we allocated additional monies where the district was actually, instead of requiring the schools to fund the security for the athletics for football, that was something that we as a district said that we were going to fund to make sure that for equity purposes, that school police was involved in collaboration and planning with the principal what security would be provided to those athletic events, and we wanted to be ensured that the schools had the funding. So that was included.
Right, thank you.
If, for some reason, we fill those positions that the 64, is it 64 from outside agencies? Or for the second officer, I mean?
Okay?
Okay, so if we fill those positions this year, can we rename that fund where it goes to after that? I mean, because you're not going to need it for the second officer anymore.
I don't understand your
So-
question.
Do some schools require more than one officer?
Yes.
So that's,
So if that's
That's where the
filled,
money goes.
because you're saying that we're not changing the allocation, am I correct? Where it's going now, it's going to
Mike is
continue to go
saying
for
that if
4
you
years.
guys hire more officers and, get more towards fully staffed, then that money can be used to then
Could
improve
be,
officer
then you can
pay as well.
rename it where it's going to. Because you're saying right now, the teachers are getting their 10,000 regardless. It's coming every year for the next 4 years, and it can't be reallocated somewhere else. Am I correct?
correct.
So the second officer, where you said was at the schools the monies is being used to cover that position, correct?
Correct?
We fill those positions. Can we reallocate that money now, once those positions are filled?
But what money are you saying we would
That we're using for
reallocate?
the second officers?
But we're using that money
Right.
now for the referendum.
For an agency or something else.
Yeah, but we're using it for an outside agency.
Yeah, but they're
So
treated just like a regular
instead of spending it there, you
officer.
spend it on an employee.
Well, I would think that if you guys hire more people, then you have more money to spend on,
Wouldn't that be counted in our budget? That we're budgeted for those positions, aren't we?
But the vacancies offset the cost of
Pay-
the contracted
pay
positions.
for that,
So
right.
it's just an offset. We didn't add additional money for that.
okay.
All right. So we will regroup and see where we want to go from here.
I'll clean these up and send it over to you based on where we left off, so it's clear for you all.
Okay. And then we'll look at when we could schedule our next session, I guess.
We're gonna have some new faces after the new year, so I don't know if we're gonna be meeting again in December, but if not, then this might be the last time you see these three together, so.
Yeah, I want to thank Alex and Kevin. I'm actually got voted back in, and I want to thank Alex and Kevin for their time that they served on the board also. They put a lot of hours and
A lot of work.
a lot of work into it, and a lot of people don't understand that, as sure as you folks don't, from your side of the table too, but they did do a lot of work, and I appreciate it.
Yep, we do too. We appreciate working with you, and it's been a pleasure. And glad you're still here working with us, though, right? So, just
Can we
won't
get
see it
those-
necessarily here.
Can we get those salaries too that you had, that you
The,
came up
the
with?
market rates, yes.
Yeah, the market rates?
Yep.
And are they current to include
Yes,
the
it's,
current
I mean,
salary?
it's fresh off the press.
Do you have enough in the budget for a little plaque for us or something?
I think PBA does,
PBA will
right?
do something for us.
All right, well, again, thank you, everybody, for being here this morning, and we'll be in touch with our scheduling next session.
Okay, thank you.
All right.